Hey folks, welcome into the News 12 Now Desk. Thanks for joining us here on this Tuesday, June the 13th. Beautiful start to our Tuesday morning here just after 11 o'clock. And it's a great day in the world of golf and in the world of junior golf because it is the 2023 Vaughn Taylor Championship. Always a really exciting golf tournament here in our area. This year, historic year, it's going to be played at Bartram Trail Golf Club for the first time. That is where we find our Alyssa Lyons. So Alyssa, I know you just got out there a little bit ago, but how are things looking out there first year at this new course?
Yeah, well, you just said it. It's a beautiful day for golf. I can't even imagine a better day to play it and a better course to play it on because, I mean, it is a little windy, but that really hasn't deterred any shots being made. And it seemed like everybody was kind of getting the ball rolling this morning at 8 a.m. when they first teed off. Now, yes, like you said, it's at Bartram Trail, which is a very different location than Mount Vintage. Mount Vintage, we know, is a very hilly course. It actually caused some problems for some of these junior amateur golfers when they were trying to lay it up last year. They really weren't able to reach par because it was so hilly and it caused some difficulties for them to, push back the time a little bit. It took them a longer time to finish. So hopefully, being here at Bartram Trail, it is hilly, but I mean, it's pretty plain. Like, I feel like it's very, very flat in some cases, whereas, Mount Vintage is just, you get one moment you're up here and the next you're all the way down at the bottom. So I think that this will be a very different course than what these kids are used to playing on, Nick.
Yeah, and I think about Mount Vintage being out there the last couple years. They've done 3 years out there before moving it over here to Bartram Trail. And like you said, Vintage got a lot of hills. Bartram, the one that comes to mind really is 18, that downhill par 5 right there at the end. But it starts a little bit more forgiving than a Mount Vintage does. Alyssa, not the first time we've had locals in the field. Last year we had Hamilton Coleman on the boys' side finishing second. But we've got 4 locals in the field here if you want to talk a little bit about them.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just list them off here because I have the list up in front of me. We have a brother and sister duo, Sarah and Nathan Martin. They actually teed off together at 10 a.m. this morning. So we're going to try to catch up with them later on and maybe even dive into what their parents have to say tomorrow. But that's going to be an interesting matchup to see how well they play together and face each other a little bit in this tournament. And then, of course, you have Nicholas Flight from Evans and Tyler Newsome from Augusta. Tyler Newsome, of course, is a name that we've heard over the last couple months just because he's played so well. So I think this is going to be an interesting little battle that we have with the local kids and, of course, with all the kids that are coming around the country. But I think Tyler Newsome is definitely going to be a name that we're going to have to watch out for here.
Yeah, and one name I did want to mention, I mentioned him briefly there, Hamilton Coleman, the freshman over at Lakeside. He was a part of this tournament last year. He might be a sophomore now, actually. But he was part of this tournament last year, finished second, was supposed to be in the tournament this year, but actually talked to his dad, and he said he got invited to play at the Wyndham Invitational in Greensboro, North Carolina this same week. So that's where he's at. So we could have had a full handful of locals in there, but we'll still take the 4. Okay, let's get back to these locals because we do have I have the scoreboard, the leaderboard up here. Tyler Newsome, the name that you mentioned that we're keeping an eye on, tied for 12th right now, even par through 5 holes. And then let me see if I can find the other 2. Nicholas Flight is 2 over through 3 right now, tied for 32nd. And then I think, what was the last one, Alyssa?
We got the Martin, Sarah, and Nathan.
Oh, there's Nathan. Yeah, he is even through 3 holes. So also tied for 12th with Tyler Newsome. On the girls' side, I don't think Sarah has teed off yet. Yeah, she's at 10 o'clock. So that got a little time for them. Have you been able to get in touch with any of these folks out here, any of the players, any of the parents, Vaughn Taylor himself, anybody out there chatting up yet?
So Vaughn Taylor is actually going to be here around 2:30. They're going to do a little bit of a par 3 course and just do a little bit of a skipping contest, kind of like what they do at Augusta National. They're going to try to recreate it here around 2:30. They're going to have a grill out after this first round. So we'll catch up with them a little later. We just got here, so definitely going to take one of the golf course that they just gave me the keys to after this and try to run around a little bit. This is so interesting too, Nick. I think this is something that we haven't mentioned yet. was that the start to this tournament was a little bit different than years past. I think everybody's just throwing a wrench in their plans and making it a whole new year for everybody here. So Sunday, the boys qualifier was actually washed out because of that huge chunk of rain that we saw. The girls, they were able to get it in later on in the day. So we have 50 guys competing here, 27 girls. So it's really going to be interesting how this all shapes up out throughout the rest of the week. Thursday, it might even come down to a playoff like we've had in years past.
And did they mention, what did you say, 50 guys, 27 girls? Is that a record field? Because I don't think we've had that many before. I want to say 72 was the number last year.
Yeah, I was looking back and I haven't seen any numbers bigger than that, so I'm going to definitely double check that today. But I mean, I think it's safe to say it is one of the larger fields that we've seen here at the Vaughn Taylor Championship. It's really catching on.
Yeah, I know the girls tournament is fairly new, so it was just the boys for a little while before they added the girls in. And so I think it was 48 and 24 last year, if I remember correctly, to make it at even 72. Maybe not, though. It might have even been less than that, but I think this is a record field. I think you're right there. And you mentioned the scores, and there being maybe a little bit lower scores this year, trying it on a different course. Just looking at the leaderboards, that seems to be the case. I'm taking a look here. The leader right now, Jamison Corbin, 4 under through 9 holes. Last year, the winning score was 3 under for the tournament. The year before that, in that epic 5-hole playoff, it was 1 under. So it seems to be working pretty well right now if they want to get those lower scores out there. Even though that wind is playing a factor, we could hear it there behind you. It's windy out there.
Yeah, it is. I was just looking at some of the tailor-made little stick flags that they have, and it is blowing pretty hard. So that's definitely going to be a factor in today's play, and maybe even throughout the rest of the week. We're supposed to get a really bad storm on Thursday, so maybe even tomorrow it'll pick up even more than what it is today. So I think they're definitely going to have to try to get their best scores in today if they want to play catch up, I guess, so to speak, later on in the week, which I doubt that they want to do. So today's definitely going to be the day where they're going to have to buckle down and really get those low scores that they want, and either to save some space for Wednesday and Thursday, even that.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't get any rain delays, but thankfully we've got a full week. So, worst comes worst, what's an extra day? This event always so fun for the kids to be able to come out here and compete in the golf capital, and it's such a great golf course. Bartram Trail really makes it exciting this year. A course with a lot of history, and a course that's a whole lot of fun. So Alyssa, we appreciate the update there. We won't hold you back anymore. You can go ahead and just get to it. Head out there and watch some golf and get paid to do it, and we'll see you a little bit later on for an update on round 1.
All right, sounds good. Who has a better desk than this?
Exactly. You're working in the remote office today out there on the 18th hole at Bartram, so we'll let you get to it. All right, Alyssa Lyons out there at Bartram Trail Golf Club. First round of the Vaughn Taylor Championship here for 2023. We appreciate her joining us this morning. We'll talk a little bit about it here if we take a look over at the leaderboard, and you can find these leaderboards on the ajga.org. So as I was saying, Jamison Corbin out of Glasgow, Kentucky is leading the field right now on the boys side by a stroke over Cooper Smith. But again, we have 4 locals that we've got here, 3 on the boys side. As we take a look down here, they were tied for 12th. Looks like they are not tied. Oh, it looks like they are tied for 10th now. So Tyler Newsome here out of Augusta, and Nathan Martin here out of Evans. Those are the 2 guys we are keeping it. 2 of the guys we're keeping an eye on the boys' side. As you see here, Newsome opened up birdie bogey, and then 3 straight pars, and Nathan Martin's just been smooth sailing with 3 pars. We also had one more who, let me try to find him, Nicholas Flight here. A little bit slower start this morning, but that's all right. Still early off. Settled in here on the par 3 12th with a par after opening with 2 bogeys. And so he'll try to build some momentum here as the round goes on. Beautiful golf course out there at Bartram Trail if you've never been. It's a great location. Really exciting that they're doing this over here this year. Okay, on the girls' side, we've got 2 girls tied for first at 2 under par. And then we have our local Sarah Martin that we're keeping an eye on. She's down there, hasn't teed off yet. She goes off, it says 10 o'clock, and it's 11:10. I don't know if there was maybe a delay this morning, though I don't know why there would be. Let's just check the tee times real quick. On the, we have the girls' side. Says 10 a.m. So not sure exactly why we wouldn't have seen her scored just yet. Oops, let me go back, see if I can pull back up. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, though. We'll check back in with Alyssa. Maybe she'll have an answer for us on that. But again, one of the things they wanted to do is maybe get the scores a little bit lower than we've seen in years past. And if we pull up these previous leaderboards, we see not some high scores by any stretch, but not lower scores than we're seeing in round one today. Pierce Adamson won it last year at 3 under, and then again, Augusta's own Hamilton Coleman, a Lakeside student, is there at 2 under, finished in second place. He had such a great back nine last year. That was so fun to watch. And then in 2021, we had just 2 guys at 1 under par. Actually, let me go back to last year and see what the girls did. Yeah, I mean, +4 was the winning score there last year. And then 2 years ago, it was -7. I forgot about that. Macy Pate. Yeah, she did some damage out there at Vintage. Had a great tournament. But won by 6 shots, and then Malin Kim there was the only other girl under par. So Mount Vintage was playing tough for these kids. So I think Bartram Trail is going to be a great change of pace, a little bit less hilly, a little bit more attackable than Mount Vintage may be, especially at the youth level where it's they're not hitting as far, although they still hit it farther than most of us Sunday golfers. But okay, let's take a little break here. We are going to be talking Donald Trump's arraignment when we come back. We've got a little bit of stuff to run on that. So give me 5 minutes to get myself settled here, and then we will come back and talk Donald